Hello, everybody. It is 11:36 a.m. Central Time on Wednesday, November 9th, 2016. And what a difference a day makes, doesn't it, guys? Wow. Last night was amazing. And here we are today, and just seeing the whole New World Order apparatus start to break down and go into spin mode and be in shock. I mean, this is just incredible. So, hey, guys, let's get into it. Let's go quickly run down the earthquakes that struck today. Now, you may remember my update last night. We talked about the potential of topping out near 4.6 near Italy. We talked about this. Greece, Italy. Well, look at it, guys. First of all, Italy, the swarm has somewhat carried on both sides of Italy. 4.2, 3.9. And I mean right on either side. So directly due east of the swarm location. 4.2, very close. This is in Bosnia, I believe. Let's make sure on that. Montenegro. Okay, Montenegro, just south of Bosnia. All right, 4.2 there. And then due west, a more rare 4.0, 3.9, striking South France at the Italy border, just west of Torino, and I mean right there. Let's get the measurement on that. Okay, oh well, they don't have a measurement from Torino, but it is about 60 miles west of Torino. Okay, so 4.0, 60 miles west of Torino, 4.2, about 150 miles east of the swarm location. Directly in between, we have our swarm. Now today, things could pick up, could get upwards of, like I told you last night, could go up to 4.6, but I would dare say this 4.2 might all be all we see. Pressure transfer to the west may have gone from the 4.2 to the 4.0 over to the west in France. It's not going to stop there. It's going to go up to North Europe, and hit the English Channel, then go out to the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Be aware that's going on right now. Secondly, a 6.0 earthquake, or 5.9, depending on which way you want to look at it, hit eastern Papua New Guinea. How about that, guys? We talked about this last night. Eastern Papua New Guinea, the triangular bend between eastern Papua New Guinea and the triangular bend, and we'd start seeing 6.0 earthquakes. Well, 5.9, close enough. Depth on that, 446 kilometers, so fairly deep. Not as deep as the other earthquakes on either side, but still, it's the middle point, guys. It's the middle point. All right, so this is the middle point between the two other deeper earthquakes that occurred. Let's show those to you there. Okay, so you can see that there. Deep earthquakes on either side, then deep 5.9 right in the middle. Right in the middle. And I mean directly between the two deep earthquakes that we talked about last night. This is going to put serious pressure on Australia. We talked about this already. And we have to look to the zones between. So, look to the zones between for our next round of movement. Look for compensation movement to the north. But there's our 6, guys. Of all the spots for it to strike, right in the middle? Really? You know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, the chances of that, I mean, if we were just randomly guessing, that would be phenomenal. I'd have a better chance, on the planet of all the areas to choose. I'd have a better chance of winning Powerball like 10 times in a row. Okay, to pick one location like that for a 6 and to have this location be hit with the 6, it's the middle fulcrum point. Okay, so in the United States, check this out. Let's quickly turn on the last 24-hour feed. And this will show us all of our small microquakes. Now, you know we're watching for a 5 to strike on the West Coast, right? You guys did watch the update last night. You know, big swarm in Northern California like this. Activity going on down the coast at the fault zones. Going up to the California border. We're watching Northwest California off the coast. Going up into Oregon off the coast. And we're watching for a 5.0 earthquake. That will then be followed very shortly after, within 1 to 2 days, in the Midwest, with another noteworthy earthquake, upper 4, right below 5. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so that's just a quick rundown, a quick update. Europe, you did get struck by 4.0 activity today. How about that? I mean, how many days has it been since that little area right there has been struck by 4s? It's been several days now. So there you go. It did get struck, but the good news is pressure fanned out across both areas. It actually went out to either side. And if I can get that back on the screen, maybe we can look at it. Okay, there we go. So you can see on either side of the swarm location, we have pressure transferring out at this point. Well, it means that the central Italy swarm location is now allowing for pressure to fully transfer across the area. What does that mean? Well, it means it's calmed down somewhat. It means that that 70 centimeters of movement that was going on for the last 2 weeks has finally started to settle out. Finally. And if we can get off today and tomorrow, if we don't have any large earthquakes, this little spot might start to even really fully settle out, and we'll get just 1 or 2 more earthquakes in this spot in central Italy. And I mean 1 or 2 more larger earthquakes might again occur off these new deep earthquakes. We talked about this last night. We have 72 hours. Well, by the end of tonight, we'll only have 48 hours. So enjoy the silence while you can in Italy. Okay, that's all I got for you. Wow, wow, wow. What a night last night was. Pepe the Frog lives. Pepe the Frog lives. Pepe the Frog is not a symbol of racism, guys. That was a lie put forth by the mainstream media and anybody who was willing to believe it in a time of high political season. Pepe the Frog is freaking funny and cool and an internet meme. And I got the Pepe the Frog mask for Halloween to be Pepe the Frog just to screw the system. So, memes shall live forever. You know, the biggest mistake I see made in this entire past year, well, one of the biggest mistakes, was to attack the internet. Attacking memes, attacking, you know, this group and that group on the internet, blaming YouTube for this and that, for Benghazi and stuff. Look, I'm here to tell you, if you fight the internet, you'll lose. Fighting the internet is like shadow boxing, man. It's like punching the air. You can't win. I'm the #1 case study for, you know, can you win a fight on the internet? Even if you have all the truth in the world behind you. No. If people are dead set against you or people have got a problem with you online, it's the one place they have to vocalize it. Right? So that's the lesson to learn from this election, is that don't ignore all the signs online. Right? We already knew what was coming. You could tell by the comments and thumbs up. Everybody thought those were paid for, but apparently they weren't. And you could tell, again, you can get a good gauge for that by going across and paying attention. So I was just last night blown away. We were having a good time. We did a package opening. It took an hour for me to open packages. I'm going to be writing thank you letters today to everybody who sent me stuff. I got all kinds of wonderful things from my viewers in my update last night. All right, that's all I got for you. President Trump. He doesn't drink the earthquake juice, guys. This I know for certain. No earthquake juice drinking from President Trump. That's finally good news for the world of science. And good news for on science in general, guys. Climate change? Ha ha! Climate change! Can you hear the sound sinking? The sound of climate change? By the way, excuse me. I would like to just mention in climate change really quick, many people have said to me, look, I'm worried about climate change. I'm worried about the weird weather that's happening, and, he's not for climate change, and it's going to ruin the planet. Okay, let me tell you something. First of all, climate change is a hoax. It is. You were sold a lie. This is why politics shouldn't be involved in science. They sold you a lie. They first tried to tell you that there was global warming and that the poles were going to melt and the water was going to rise. That was a lie. Water's not going to rise. It hasn't risen. All the stories that you've seen about water rising are bullshit. All the stories you've seen about the poles melting are bullshit. They were literally made up. Ask to see a picture of it. Ask to see pictures of it. And then if you see an area that they say is flooding, say, hey, didn't that flood 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago? And they'll say, yeah. Okay? In other words, all this climate change stuff was a way to take money from our country and put it into the UN to give it money. That's it, guys. The UN was the New World Order's. This was a vote now against the New World Order. The UN was starting to get beefed up by climate change money. They didn't have any way to newly finance the UN any more than what countries are already putting in, so they had to come up with some bogus thing that takes renewal every year with more money. And that was climate change. Now, there's many people say, what, Dutch, you don't believe in climate change? Yeah, no, I don't. Now, I will acknowledge we've got some weird weather going on, some weird weather patterns, but let me tell you what, that's not caused by CO2 and gases. And I can prove it. I can prove it. CO2 levels, guys, you can actually compare to what they've done with these ice core samples and tree samples, tree ring samples, that you can find out that CO2 was far greater much further back. High CO2 during the time of the dinosaurs. Planet didn't melt down, and there were ice caps. They try to say there weren't ice caps during the time of the dinosaurs. Okay, so in other words, there's a huge story, a huge lie in climate change. And that the weird weather that's being caused is being caused by man-made systems that are currently working. That if we turned off these man-made systems like high-powered microwaves, the Europeans have this thing called iSCAT 3D. They describe it as being a million microwaves, kitchen microwaves, open at once. Imagine a million kitchen microwaves with their doors open, targeted, pointing at the sky. That's what one of their systems is. Now, you know what happens, microwaves, of course, heat things up. Well, you know what happens when you mix hot and cold up in the atmosphere? You get rotation. You know what happens when you do too much radio waves up in the atmosphere? It makes water molecules and cloud formation. Yeah. So, in other words, man-made storms, man-made systems are causing the weird weather that we're having. Then they're trying to correct for those man-made systems by spraying particulate matter in the atmosphere, either using dirty jet fuel or actual cloud seeding techniques. So they'll use both. They'll use jet fuel from airplanes. They'll send a whole bunch of airplanes, international flights, over a certain area to make clouds with jet fuel clouds, pollution clouds. Then they'll also have other planes that go around and spray. That's called cloud seeding. Not a conspiracy, not chemtrails, cloud seeding. Okay? What does that all mean? Man-made systems are causing these weird weather events, which you've been sold, you the people, have been sold a lie on, told that it's a fully changing climate. And they tell you that the climate is being changed by CO2, which is the same thing that feeds our trees and grass and plants. So we need to get rid of CO2. Well, guess what that's going to do? Now, first of all, if we have abundant CO2, guess what's going to grow more? Plants. Yeah, plants are going to grow more if we have CO2. If we reduce CO2, guess what's going to happen? The trees are going to start dying. They're going to wither up. They're going to get all nasty looking. Oh, wait, that's already happening. Yeah. So, CO2 is not a problem, and that's part of this whole global warming, climate change, baloney created by the UN to finance the UN. But not for climate change, but to give them a huge usable budget in the hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars given from around the world towards this climate change thing that they take and use for everything else. Well, climate change is a scam. The poles are not melting. The water is not rising, and the only thing that is happening is weird weather caused by man-made systems that if we immediately turn them off, we wouldn't have any more problems. Or not major problems, I should say. There'd still be pollution. You'd still have jet fuel clouds. Like we'd have to put a limit on jet fuel reformulate jet fuel, ban limits, mufflers, that kind of stuff to stop the man-made clouds. Man-made clouds are one of the worst climate problems in the world, and that's, again, from human-caused activities having nothing to do with CO2. CO2 is a BS line created a long time ago, back when they said the globe was heating. They said global warming, that's what CO2 was. So don't worry about CO2, guys. Again, if anybody's trying to tell you about CO2, it's going to be like an Obama or a Clinton and that kind of stuff, and that says it all. They got the repudiation last night. We have had it with the New World Order and climate change. If I hear anybody else pushing it, I'm going to laugh at them and smack them down. Climate change denier? Damn right. I'm a weird weather believer, and I believe in weather modification because we have the science proving it. If you believe in climate change, you just believe in something without science. You know? Really. And it's unscientific to believe in things, guys, without any backing or proof. Like to believe the poles are melted, but you don't have any pictures of it? What? You can't fly over and show us the vast melted areas across Greenland and Iceland, Greenland, going down to even the South Pole even? Can't fly over the South Pole and show us the whole melted areas, huh? Wait, there aren't any. It's all covered in ice. You fly over, it's going to be all white. People are going to say, there is no melt. What are you talking about? Same with Greenland. Greenland, few little spots melted. They try to tell you the whole ice sheet's melted. Try to tell you it's going away. No, it's not. No, it's not. That was all a lie. As a matter of fact, it grew exponentially larger last year with the 2 years of polar vortex. The ice sheet's the thickest it's ever been measured up in Greenland. Anyways. All right, so that's your update, guys. We do this because we like it. We do it because we're concerned. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll be back if anything else goes down. Congratulations to everybody who voted. Here's to the New World Order going down.